You're listening to The Arms Room on the Vets on Media Network.
All right, you're on the Arms with Glenn
and John
and Matt
and Mason. You're getting better,
but don't get full of yourself.
A little bit.
Getting better.
You can't give him too much confidence.
Well, I'll dash it later. Don't worry.
Yeah, we have to build him up a little bit and then smash him back down.
Yeah, man. Can't start positive. All right. So, wow, I'm loud.
Yes, you are.
Turn it down a little bit there.
Hear myself thinking through this.
All right.
That's not true. You don't think. Don't lie.
I just execute.
So, fun stuff this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Precision rifle.
Good times. I did not know what I did not know.
So, myself and Josh taught precision rifle class for independence training all weekend long, Friday through Sunday. And John was a student for the first time through our precision rifle program.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And had a good time. It's really important. It's something we always mention in all of our classes, how much we train. And how much as instructors we're very serious about training and learning new things, and that we have a living system that we're continually advancing and progressing and all that. And sometimes people think, oh, this is just kind of like lip service. It's not.
No, it's not.
We really do train with other people. We really do take our own time and money and effort and go out and train with other people and learn things we don't know. In this case, John, who's done a lot of small arms stuff with us for years, had never done our long gun class. And that was definitely a whole new thing for you.
Definitely a whole new thing for me. Like, I realized that I need better equipment to a point, because I found some limitations with the stuff I have, and then just practice and consistency with that. Because shooting magnified optics like that at those ranges is totally different than anything I've ever done before. So it was a really steep learning curve.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot and look forward to delving into it a little bit more. Not too much, because it can become precision shooting can become very, very expensive very quickly.
Very quickly.
So
I do have to mention, even though I still think he is retarded, I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way up from here. That John, the guy I think is kind of retarded, was almost the top shooter in class.
Almost.
Not consistently throughout the program, but at the end, at the end of class. All right. We do a top shot competition that requires that people do everything that we have done over the last 3 days, literally everything that we have done over the last 3 days, from range calculations to target identification, to positional shooting, to angle shooting, field shooting positions, unknown distances, all that kind of stuff that we worked on throughout the entire class. And do it all in one very short period of time in a relatively small engagement area. And so the top shooter found, identified, and effectively engaged the target within 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yep.
It was good. He was off center by an inch and an eighth. No, excuse me. That's you. 3/4 of an inch. The guy who won was 3/4 of an inch off center. John found, engaged, and effectively killed the target there at
3:20.
3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yep.
An inch and an eighth.
Yep.
Off of center. So only a half an inch. John, half inch short. Story of his life.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't want to say it, but
almost there.
Almost. That's all right.
The punchline.
Good job, though. And a lot of the guys who had, and we see it consistently in precision rifle, that.
And I think we were shooting the two least expensive guns there.
Yes, absolutely you were. Yeah, those were the two least expensive scopes and least expensive guns on the line, were the top shot. He had definitely the least expensive setup.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, sub $1,000. Sub $1,000. There were guys there with rifles that, are car prices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were guys there with rifles
that shooting more than my car.
Yeah, that were that were $7,000 and $8,000 and pretty easily. And so
isn't that pretty common for that course? So it's pretty skill oriented. I mean, didn't Jason?
Yes, it's always skill oriented.
Bottom.
He did it with John's
Jason
rifle.
did it with my rifle.
Okay.
actually.
And
Yeah,
he was top
that was
shot.
And he was top
a
shot.
few years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Jason from TCB was top shot.
Proves
Again,
that guy's a badass.
he was shooting one of the least expensive rifles on the line.
With the worst possible ammunition.
The worst possible ammo he could find
Right.
because it was just all he could find. He decided to take the class like 2 days before the class.
Just Walmart.
Yeah, just went and bought whatever he could find. And because he applied the fundamentals and he had the patience, and we screw with people just before the Top Shot competition with the way that we say things and how the competition is laid out, where if you listen to the wrong part of what we say, you will screw up. But if you listen to the right part of what we say, then you will win.
Kind of like the low light, no light.
Very much,
Yeah, yeah,
very much like our
yeah.
low light, no light class. Yeah. Where we give people, it's kind of like one of those tests where you take in school where, you kind of disregard like 50% of the information in the paragraph.
If you follow it literally, you'll be fine.
Yep.
So it was a lot of fun, and John did a really good job there at the end. Applied the fundamentals, applied the techniques we had taught throughout the whole 3 days. We had some guys who were real cocky going into it, guys who were guessing. And it's like, why are you guessing, man? The whole last 3 days, all we talk about is precision, 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 precision. It's not about hits.
It's close enough.
It's about precise hits, right? Any moron can freaking hit big, giant torso targets at 800 meters, 900 meters, 1,000. That's not hard to do, especially from a prone position with a really expensive, nice rifle that shoots very tight, accuracy. Obviously, you can still screw up with that kind of equipment, but just about anybody can make that happen with enough practice and a little bit of information. But to keep everything, sub-minute of angle, that's a totally different story. That's precision.
Yep.
So just kind of something to think about. If you're out there and you enjoy long range shooting, man, all more power to you. But take a look at precision shooting. That's in my opinion, that's what it's all about, man. Making good hits at long ranges is a lot more than just making a long range hit. It's just something to think about in your own training and experience. So I have to tell you, I'm not going to tell you the whole dream because it was freaking crazy, but I had this dream last night that basically makes me want to get a quick access AR safe.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much crazy dream. So I need recommendations on
One of those dreams.
I need a
Did you wake up?
suggestions.
Did you wake up sweating in the middle of the night in the dark?
No, but
You
literally, I
losing-
woke up from the dream and like eyes popped open,
Just
and
terrified.
in my head I was like, I need a quick action AR safe. Like I need something quick.
I need to go buy this right now.
because I don't keep my AR typically. I do believe in ARs for home defense, but it's not something I keep really, really handy. Mostly it's just my handgun because that's my typical, piece of equipment. I do keep an AR for home defense, and from time to time, I'll keep it for that, keep it out in the open for that kind of thing. But it's just not something I always have quick access to. And I need a quick access.
Kids kind of change that, don't they?
They do, but you know what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good quick access safes out there. I've seen several of them. Shot Lock's one of my more favorite ones. They don't fit all types of rifles. Sentry makes a pretty cool one. Just something to think about.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah. Nuts. On that note about safes and everything, I want to mention we shared last week a story on our Facebook page, on the Arms Room Facebook page. It came from our Independence Training Facebook page about an associate of ours who had his home broken into and he was robbed. And a lot of guns were stolen. A lot of his personal stuff was stolen. His personal space was invaded. His girl, his little 5-year-old daughter is now, scared to be anywhere in the house alone. He has really good camera footage of these guys, these yahoos breaking into his house and stealing all his stuff. And it was because he didn't have a good gun safe. Now, luckily, we just posting it on our Independence Training page. We had almost 300,000 views. It was more views than anything else we've ever posted on Facebook in the history of our Facebook account.
Holy crap.
We had almost 300,000 views on that and like 2,000 shares. And so it went from there. It just blew up on Facebook. I mean, and that wasn't just because of us. We were just one of thousands and thousands of people sharing it, and it just absolutely blew up. Because of that, I've been told by a little bird that they possibly actually have a lead now on what might happen, just because of how much exposure it got. So thank you to everybody who shared it, saw it, posted it. It was all over the Arizona gun forums. It was everywhere. I mean, people were just blowing up all over this thing because the guy has literally, I'm looking at it right now.
It's like high def.
It is high def. And this freaking asshole, I can see his face clear as day. And I hope you die a terrible death. You stupid freaking thief. See that?
Like quality is
There's like
I
four
want to
of
know
them.
what kind of cameras he had.
Yeah, there's like
Yes.
four guys.
Awesome.
I want one of those in my house.
Yeah, there's like these four guys, and you can see them all, or three guys, or whatever. You can see them all clear as day.
Yeah, and they're just running from the house with this
armfuls of guns, man. So you know what? Here's the thing. To all the rest of you, we don't know. Obviously, if this guy was cased, we don't know how these guys knew he had guns. It seemed
awfully lucky if he wasn't cased.
Awfully lucky if he wasn't cased. It was just a good score. But please get a gun safe. Okay, stop spending money on guns and ammunition. Save that money and buy a good gun safe.
Used gun safes are really cheap.
Bolt it to the ground.
Because nobody wants to move them.
Yep. Well, the dude actually delivered mine to my house.
Really?
I bought it while I was out of state.
Yeah.
$750.
I just moved one yesterday for a buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, they are heavy.
It only took 4 of us. So
did you guys use rollers?
We used a
Like
dollar.
dowels? Oh,
lead pipe,
It was
dude.
like
lead pipe.
It was a serious,
lead pipe is the
dolly.
easiest way to move
It was
this thing.
probably like 800 pounds though.
So please buy a gun safe. Keep your stuff secure. All right.
Buy a good gun safe.
Avoid this kind of stuff from happening to you, and put other stuff in your gun safe. I mean, obviously not just that, but like when I leave town, I put laptops and expensive electronics. I put all that kind of stuff in the gun safe. In addition
Important
to
paperwork.
Yeah, all my
It's
important
gonna burn down
paperwork.
if the
I actually
house
have
goes
2 safes. I have 2 gun safes. I have my big safe, and then I have a little safe somewhere else in my house that I keep that type of stuff in.
Yeah, all my photos are backed up on external hard drive. That's all in the safe. Everything that could possibly
if you need to start
be
life
destroyed.
over.
Yep. If my house burned to the ground or someone robbed me blind and my safe was still intact, then that I could still continue my life. So just kind of something to think about, because today we're talking about security.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about sex. Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
SECS.
Oh,
Mason, I'm sorry to let you down. It's not that kind of talk.
You will be able to contribute to the show today.
But after the show, you and I are going to sit down, okay, and we're going to have a talk.
About
You
I don't think Mason's in a very good mood today. I've been giving him crap, and
Are you
he's.
talking about sex?
Did you have a hard weekend, Mason?
No, I had an excellent weekend.
Are you in a bad mood?
No, not at all.
Do you need a hug?
Do you need a hug? John is
we
a
give
hugger.
really good hugs.
They're gonna. Oh, sandwich hug.
No,
Oh, here it comes. Oh, here it comes. Matt's on one side. Mason's on the other. Oh, I wish this was on video. Oh no, I don't wish this was on video. Oh, I can't unsee what has been seen.
Our faces touched.
All right, so we're going to talk about SECS, OPSEC and PERSEC, operational security and personal security. John, did you have a chance to
make the list?
To make the list,
I did not.
You are such a slacker.
I am.
Oh my god! All right.
Well,
and you yell at me for being
not
as early,
almost late.
Almost late.
All right.
What do you call someone who almost fails medical school?
A doctor.
A doctor.
You got it, buddy.
All right, so we're going to talk about operational security, personal security, and that really ties into this whole safe thing. All right, so first of all, let's define kind of what operational security and personal security. Of course, these are OPSEC, PERSEC. If you've ever been in the military, you're very familiar with these terms. If you haven't been in the military, you probably still heard them thrown around a lot, and people throw these terms around a lot: OPSEC, PERSEC, and all that kind of stuff. Where I originally remember seeing this kind of stuff is I remember this poster that I saw, and it had a guy kind of sinking beneath the waves.
Was it Loose Lips?
No. It was Someone Talked.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
And the guy's like sinking beneath the waves, and he's got his hand up as if he was reaching for someone to save him. And it says, "Someone talked," and then the whole idea about poster was, in the Navy, of course, they're very secretive about where they're going, what routes they're taking, and things like that, because no one likes to be torpedoed.
Loose lips sink ships.
Loose lips sink ships. And oftentimes we hear about operational security, personal security things kind of being used in kind of cliches or catchphrases like torpedoed. He torpedoed me. Like that comes from the OPSEC PERSEC thing, right? He only torpedoed you because he knew what you were doing, right? So that's like a business term or personal term. Like, I was gonna ask that girl out, but I told my buddy I was gonna do it, and then before I could go do it, man, he asked her out. He torpedoed me, like that's the idea. Is loose lips sink ships. You talked about it, so he went and
he did it.
So let's talk a little bit about operational security first. Oh, Mason, go.
Would you like the by the book definition of operational security?
Please, Mason, give me the book definition.
Operation security, or OPSEC, is a term originating in military jargon as a process that identifies critical information to determine if friendly actions can be observed by adversary intelligence systems, determines if information obtained by adversaries could be intercepted or interpreted to be useful to them, and then execute selected measures that eliminate or reduce adversary exploitation of friendly critical information.
There's a lot of $5 words in that one.
There was a lot of $5 words in that one.
Every military definition has that.
Pretty much.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
So you guys have both seen my 10 rules of business,
Yes.
right? My business is war concept.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 10 rules of business, number 9 is secrecy of mission is essential.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't come up with these rules. I happily stole them somewhere online. I don't even remember where I got them.
But secrecy is
essential.
Yeah.
So secrecy of mission is essential. And that's kind of the idea in your life. Well, what have you got going on? There are too many cases where people talk too much about what's going on in their life. Facebook, which I have pulled up on my computer right now, observing our Arms Room Facebook page, is a perfect example of kind of keeping your mission secret, so to speak. And one thing that we'll see a lot on Facebook pages is we'll see like, hey, I can't wait to go to the Bahamas next week.
Fantastic.
Right? Going to spend 2 days in the Bahamas, right? Or 3 days or 5 days or a week or 2 weeks or whatever it's going to be. And then they just put that out there for the world to see. And even they're like, well, only my friends can see my page. Well, understand that loose lips sink ships, right? So if your friends talk to somebody or other friends of their friends or whatever can gain access to your page in whatever way, shape, or form, and they know that you're going to the Bahamas, or, the maintenance guy comes by to fix the, and if you're a maintenance guy, I'm not saying all maintenance guys are bad or anything like that, but the
people that you allow access to your home.
Yeah, some guy comes in, he's repairing your whatever in your house, and you say something like, you just let it slip, something like where the, you go, oh, well, if you can't fix it till next week, that's fine, because I'm going out of town this weekend, right? It's simple little comments like that the guy goes, oh, that's interesting. And then he says to one of his buddies, man, I was at this place. In fact, I'll give you a perfect example. My brother-in-law works for Dish Network, okay? Mm-hmm. And in his job, he sees amazing stuff that people leave out, and people give him access to their house, and they'll say things like, oh, well, you do whatever you need to do. I'm going to run to the store for a couple hours. And he's like, man, I have seen, and he's incredibly, honest guy. All right. So he's not doing anything wrong, but he'll just tell me like, dude, there's guys, people just leave stacks of cash out. They leave their guns out. He's like, sometimes we have to kind of root through closets or build or rooms or something. We're trying to run wires and cables and install stuff. And because they do all kinds of stuff. I mean, they install TVs and they install all kinds of stuff in their service. And he's like, man, people just leave all kinds of information out. He's like, I've seen people bank statements sitting out. I've seen people's, personal information with Social Security, just papers just laying all over the place. He's like, now I'm an honest guy, but I can't say that everybody that has access to the information I have access to is necessarily an honest person. And so, while that may seem just like a no big deal kind of thing to most people to just make those kind of offhand comments or just leave that kind of stuff laying out. Hey, it's my house, right? Yeah. Who has access to that information? If you walk into my living room, for example, I'm very particular about what people see when they walk into my living room. My living room, it looks like a living room. That's it. I have no big dead animal heads up in there. I don't show off my hunting kills. I don't want anybody to think or know I'm a hunter. There's nothing about guns in there. I've got pictures of my family. I've got some religious pictures up there. I just look like a normal dude. It's like a regular old house. So whether it's someone who comes to the door and the door happens to get opened and they look in and see something, or, it could be one of my kids' friends who may, or a maintenance guy or something, who just casually mentions to his buddy, man, like my brother-in-law did, man, I was at this guy's house and he just had all these guns laying out, and that guy, especially around Christmas time, is like, man, I'm really hard up for money. I know I could sell some guns. Really? Well, what was it? Where was this place at? Oh, it's just right over here on such and such road or something. And next thing you know, the guy's over there breaking in. And this is where most, and I'm not just talking out my ass here, okay? This is information that I'm getting like from law enforcement, right? From the law enforcement guys that I spend time around with and train with.
It's just like the home invasion.
That's where these home invasions
like their home invasion stat. It's like pure random home invasions are just super rare.
They're incredibly rare.
Like, most of them seem to be drug related.
You can always draw a chain of events back to almost every home invasion, hands down.
It's like a good friend of ours was about a year and a half ago now. found out like he came home and they'd stolen his truck and a bunch of his guns and so on and so forth. And it turned out that it was the neighbors that did it because he goes out to the range a lot and he does a lot of shooting and hunting and things of that nature. And they just would see him coming in and out of his house with all of his stuff. So they were like, one day they were like, I'm just going to go steal all your crap now. So that also is a big thing for me as far as that's on my list of things. I didn't actually write my list out, but I have a list of things that I do to help prevent my neighbors from knowing those types of things. So.
Well, it's like my garage is a good example, right? If you open up my garage door, it looks, if you just open up my garage door and
it looks like a
garage,
storage unit that's been unkept for like 5 years.
It looks terrible, right? You know when you open up someone's, you see someone's and you're like, oh my gosh, right? That's what it looks like when you open my garage.
Yeah, it's not quite hoarders level, but almost.
It's like these Rubbermaid containers.
There's no cars getting parked in there.
Yeah, there's no cars getting parked in that garage. It's
my workshop, and I've got tools on one side, but you can't see the tools.
No.
I keep a lot of stuff in there that you cannot see.
Yeah.
And so if you were to just open my garage and look at it, what you can see is like multicolored Rubbermaid containers kind of stacked haphazardly and a couple of boxes kind of thrown in there.
Yeah.
And that's totally on purpose.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? Because when you walk actually into the garage and see what's in the garage, that's what I'm hiding, right? So the average person, and my garage is open from time to time.
Yeah.
My wife's coming in and out with the kids, or I'm bringing equipment in and out, or anything like that. And people are going to drive by and see my garage open. And I learned that from a friend of mine. I learned that from an old man friend of mine who I was over at his house one day, and he kept a refrigerator box that was big enough to cover his gun safe. It's looked like a big old empty cardboard box, or maybe like a cardboard box full of crap or something like that. And so his garage door opened and closed. He would when the garage door was closed, he would pull this half box off of his safe, and boom, there's his gun safe.
Nice.
And so
that's a really good idea.
I was like, that's freaking genius, dude. And he was
holy
like,
crap,
that's old man smart,
Yeah.
And so from there, I kind of took it to the next level because I want to hide a little bit more stuff than that. And, if you looked at my garage open, it just
rearrange everything.
It kind of looks like crap. It looks like my garage is probably full of junk and something that you would want to go.
Well, it looks like the average person's garage.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the average guy's house and his garage is like full of stuff that his kids have and all the extra crap that the family has, and the holiday decorations and the summer decorations and the 4th of July decorations and all the, if you're a camper and outdoorsman of any type, you've got all these boxes of stuff just everywhere, and they've all got, some of them are labeled, most of them aren't.
And don't get me wrong, dude. I have like a whole fire team of kids and all.
Oh yeah.
Christmas. Those things are full of Christmas decorations
all
and
there.
Halloween. It's all,
right? No, I know.
It's not just vacant. And full
it's not just boxes of concrete.
But if I really wanted to stack those very nicely and properly, it would take a whole lot less space. But it would also reveal a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So think about operational security from the standpoint of what does the average person know about you by looking at you. What's another good example of operational security, John?
Talking generalities. Like I talk in generalities when I talk to people that I don't know. Someone said, "Hey, do you have kids?" Yeah, I've got 2 kids. Yeah. Things like that. I don't like, oh yeah, well I have a this and I have a this and they're this old and this old and they do this and oh my goodness, and my wife's name is X and so on and so forth. Just you speak in generalities for the most part. Now occasionally, it's okay. Yeah, I've got somebody ask, well, how old are your kids? Okay, well, I've got a toddler and a baby. So you're still staying general, but you're being more specific. Things like that. Or people ask me, oh, do you have guns? Yeah, I've got some guns. That's about all I'll give them. So,
and that kind of starts to delve into personal security too. So before we go on break, Mason, do you have the no joke definition of PERSEC?
Oh, loud. I can get it.
Look it up for me real quick if you would. Thanks. So PERSEC, or personal security, is kind of starts to get into that too. The idea of now operational security. How much does the average person that is unknown to you, right? How much do they know about your life? And personal security is, or kind of not so much about your life. OPSEC's more like, what does someone know about your mission, right? What does someone know
what
about
I'm doing,
what you're doing?
Well, you've been to my house.
Where do you go to? Where do you work? Where do your kids go to school? Where does your wife work? I mean, I remember when Facebook first started kind of coming online. A buddy of mine got on it, and he really wanted me to, hey, you should get on Facebook because he lives in Florida. You should get on Facebook. We can talk and we can chat. We grew up together, and so I'm like, okay, cool. So I look into Facebook, and this was many years ago. This was like MySpace kind of time, and so I jump on there and I look at his page, And within about 30 to 45 minutes, I called him up. And I said, so I know you, right? I mean, we're close. We know everything about each other's lives. But I'm going to tell you about what I know about you from your Facebook page. And I was able to tell him where his wife worked, where his kid at the time, one kid, where his kid went to school. And I was even able to gather his home address from there just by piecing together different photos he had taken and then using Google Maps. And so that really scared me off of Facebook for a long time, really until I got involved on Facebook with the business. That was actually when I got a personal page. And even now my personal page is full of reposts from, my business page, so I can keep my friends and everything up to date on what I'm doing. Every now and then I'll throw something not personal, but something like a joke or something on there. But still, I still pretty much just really use it for business stuff. And my friend at the time was like, "Oh my gosh, man, I can't believe you got all that from my Facebook page." And he really was able to lock down his security. You go on my page, you'll find, like John said, you won't find much information about my family. If it's a picture of my wife or my kids, it's always the back of their head.
Yeah. Well, like I have some
typically don't really.
I have some other
faces.
relatives that take a lot of photos because my wife's family is quite huge and we do a lot of big family gatherings. And, my kids end up in pictures with all the other kids in the family and so on and so forth. And for a long time, this one individual was posting these up and tagging me in all of these pictures of my children and all the other family. And I was like, look, I was like, I appreciate what you're doing. I would appreciate it more if you stopped doing that. And she did. She stopped, tagging me in those and tagging my children in those and things like that. I mean, they still end up there, but I can only do so much, so.
Well, I watch that too because we'll have, my wife's friends will do the same thing. My wife does not have a Facebook page, but I do.
Right.
So they'll tag me. And so I'll just untag myself and I'll, send them a message. Don't do that. That's not, I don't want.
A setting that I have on mine is that even if you guys tag me in something, it doesn't become visible to anybody unless I approve it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, okay, that's on there. See, I don't even know all the Facebook. There's so many stinking Facebook security settings.
There's like privacy settings.
Yeah.
You just got to go through and look at every setting and subsetting because there's some pretty good stuff under there if you want to cover your butt.
So Mason says no.
I couldn't really find a definition that I think applies to this situation. It's all super military related. So.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more about personal security, the kind of information that people are putting out there about themselves. We're gonna talk about gun stickers. We're gonna talk about vehicle stickers.
Yes.
My car went to Ranger School.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about all that kind of stuff when we come back from our break. You're listening to The Arms Room.
Would you like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans? The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity. Would you like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans? The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Breaker 19. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veterans supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Would you like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans? The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org or call 928-284-2022.
All right, we're back on the Arms Room.
When did they start doing the music for the break return?
I don't know. Mason's doing it.
Is
now.
Mason doing his own thing over there?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm totally.
I like
cool.
it better.
Okay, can I mix it up?
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Mason's on the ones and twos.
I like your mixing capability, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back from break. Got to mention our good friends over at AR500 Armor before we get back on OPSEC PERSEC. Yeah, look, we got Matt wearing AR500 Armor hat.
It's actually Kevlar hat.
Oh my gosh.
It's not true.
False advertising.
That would be terribly uncomfortable.
Steel hat plated.
Yeah, it's
Steel plate hat.
Packs on build up on the inside.
We've got our carrier here that I'm normally wearing. Didn't wear it last week. Not wearing it today because I'm wearing something different. This is a steel carrier that we've had on the show for a while now. And today I'm wearing something a little bit different from AR500 Armor. That's right.
Oh, do tell.
I am wearing their soft armor today.
You are?
Underneath my t-shirt. Yep, I have a full set of soft armor on underneath my t-shirt. And if you're looking at our video, you tell I probably look a little bulkier than normal. I know
you got a good pump.
I know I'm typically very ripped and all that. You guys are, really excited about that. But with the armor on, I look a little bit, bulkier, but it does conceal, or it is covered underneath a t-shirt. Now, this is not really what a concealable soft vest is really designed for. It's more designed for button-up shirts or jackets. But I just wanted to, wear, since I didn't want to wear either one of those things. I thought, well, I'll throw it under a t-shirt and see, what it's like. And it does a pretty decent job. This morning, I was stopping by the Circle K, threw my jacket on over it. I couldn't tell at all that I was wearing armor. So if you're looking for, again, from an OPSEC, PERSEC kind of standpoint, if you're looking for the capability to wear some armor, kind of incognito, this is the TAG concealable carrier with AR500's, soft armor in it. Level 3A ballistic capability. And so you should check out their website. They have the full package on there, the concealable vest. So very cool. It's underneath my Tombstone tactical shirt.
Tombstone Tactical, you say?
What?
I do indeed say.
That's a fantastic store.
Awesome
I
store.
found
If you're local
myself
here in
there
Phoenix, check it out.
yesterday and got this awesome cool knife.
That is a cool knife. We were playing a lot with it during the break. So check out
like that place.
Tombstone Tactical. All of the Independence Training medical kits are sold there at Tombstone Tactical.
You can pick up red wire gear slings, rear squeeze packs, and card wallets as well.
I saw the squeeze packs yesterday.
You can also pick up holsters from TCB Holsters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No,
That's right.
really?
TCB's in there now.
Yeah, and several other good local
What a-
Arizona companies are
What
in
a
there.
glorious store.
And AR500 armor is also more than likely going to be soon sold at
Very nice.
Tombstone
That'd be
Tactical.
good.
So check out Tombstone Tactical.
Be real good.
And they do a bulk of their business online. So if you haven't checked them out online, you should check them out too.
Yeah.
But definitely check out our friends over at AR500 Armor. They have all kinds of awesome deals going on for the holidays, armor capability. And if you check out their YouTube channel, oh my gosh, you will see Matt and my shining faces on part 1 of like our 6. Probably it's going to be like 6 or 7 videos.
Yeah.
It took off. I had to beat Glenn's groupies out of the way to get in the building here.
It was amazing. I was beating them off. Get away from me. Get him. No autographs. No autographs. No, but seriously, check out AR500 Armor's YouTube channel. We did link to it on the Independence Training Facebook page. I think this afternoon it's getting posted, and we'll shoot that over on the Arms Room Facebook page. But part 1 was just about fitting and properly setting up carriers. Part 2 is going to be Matt and I will be on there again talking about using slings with carriers. Part 3 is John and I talking about utilizing first line gear with carriers, how to utilize concealed carry holsters and things like that if you want to throw a plate carrier on real quick. And then part 4, 5, and 6, possibly 7, are all going to be live fire exercises that you can do to test and you start to utilize your armor and start to work with armor.
Yeah.
So very cool stuff we got going on with AR500.
Fun little fact about AR500. They have a lot of cool stuff besides armor in their store.
They do.
They do.
I mean, pretty heavily stocked in terms of mags and pouches and
Yeah, they've got
stuff besides plates.
Even med kits.
Yeah.
And a lot of their med kits that they used to make are now being, most of the guys came through our medical classes. Yeah. And so now they're kind of starting to change their med kits based on the information they got from Matt in our medical classes. So yeah, AR500 Armor, great guys to deal with. You know, we've really enjoyed being with them and working with them. And this video series is going to be great. So make sure you check that out. All right, back on the topic of OPSEC, PERSEC. All right. We kind of started to get into PERSEC. Let's talk about that. Stickers. Gun stickers.
Yeah. No.
Veteran stickers.
Family stickers.
Family stickers. The
stick figure family.
The stick figure families, you know, where they've got freaking 5 or 6 people on there. My favorite ones are the ones that have names. Are you kidding me?
I've seen ones where they have guns, like the dad's an M14 and the wife's an AR-15, and then they have a teenage son. He's like a little 22 M1 carbine or something, and then they have a baby in his new Glock. And I'm like, you have a family and guns. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they had their pets. I saw one and I took a picture of it. This was a couple of years ago. I was driving down the freeway and I drive by this massive SUV.
You sent me this picture.
I did send you this picture. Okay. And on the side window, passenger side rear window, is the, I don't know, Hernandez family, right? Mom, dad, 3 kids, dogs.
Names.
You know, Bob, Joe, Stacy, Sally. I'm like, sweet.
Current address.
Yeah, I literally like I'm
driving. Put your social on there for crying out loud.
Cell phone, and I'm like,
safely.
Got it. You know. No, I safely took that photo and
he sent it to me.
Sent it to Glenn, and I'm like, hey, check this out. This is awesome.
So you have to consider like what's the danger of all that? All right. So let's talk about reality. Remember that bad people do this for a living. They didn't just wait. They weren't like us at this table who are pretty honest, virtuous people. Today. And then we just woke up and we were like, you know what? I'm just going to be a criminal today.
Yeah.
All right.
Do something
That's
dumb.
typically not how it works. All right. These people do this for a living. Just like we do what we do for a living. They do what they do for a living. And so it's really important that we remember that. And that, when start looking at things from a bad guy's perspective. All right. So if you've got all the guns there, okay, so he may not break into your house when you're there, but you're not always there.
Probably smart enough to not do that.
Because he does this for a living, right? He doesn't want to die today, just like you don't want to die today. And so he's going to be smart about when he breaks in. And God forbid he breaks in when you're at work, your wife's at work, or grocery shopping or something. He doesn't think anybody's home. And he breaks in and boom, there's your kids. All right. And you end up with a kidnapping or a rape or a murder, or God forbid, even your kids then have to defend the home. My kid.
Or even if the guy just bails out, like what's it going to do to a kid?
Exactly. Like my kids, okay, may or may not be able to defend the home. That's not the point. I don't want to ever have to put them in that kind of situation. You know, I mean, what's that whole, that quote, let me go to war now so that my kids may know peace or something like that.
Right.
I mean, that's the idea here, right? I don't want my kids to ever have to defend our home or be scarred. The guy just breaks in and goes, oh crap, people are here, and leaves. I don't want my kids to now be scared to be at home alone or something like that. So that is just me inviting trouble. And then you put the names on. We use this a lot in like when we're doing self-defense classes, we have ladies in the class. We use this example of, if I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, excuse me, can I have $1 or something? Can I get a ride or something? Most people are like, hey, why don't you keep your distance? Ladies in general let you get a little bit closer just because of how ladies' mentalities usually are. Not all ladies, but a lot of ladies will.
Yeah, they're nicer than we are.
They're nicer than we are. And so they'll typically let people get a little closer. Well, now imagine that you have Susie, let's say is your daughter's name, and you have it on the back of your car, right? And it also says proud parent of an honor student over at ABC Elementary School. And so I'm like, okay, her daughter's name is Susie, and she goes to ABC Elementary School, and I'd like to steal that car or rob her or rape her or whatever, right? And so then I see you coming out, and they go, hey, Ray, you're Susie's mom, right? And as I'm walking towards you, hey, our kids go to school together over at ABC Elementary School, right? Mm-hmm. How much closer are you going to let me get? Way closer. And anybody who says any different is freaking lying. Mm-hmm. All right? Because known people, you're just going to let people that you think you know closer to you. All right, not every in a training environment, and it was like back up, stay back. Like
if someone came up,
but in the real world, that's not how you are.
I mean, if someone walked up to your wife and you're like, "Hey, you're Glenn's wife from Independence Training," I mean, even having a good mindset, I mean, is it kind of weird to be like, "Hey, well, I don't really know who you are, so back up"?
Yeah,
like no, people aren't going to do that.
Yeah, you're probably still going to keep them at a little bit of distance, right? But the distance you're going to let them close is going to be greater than the distance you would let them close if they knew nothing about you.
Hey, can I get a buck, man?
Yeah.
Be like, yeah.
If someone comes up to me and is like, hey, you're Garrett's dad, right? I'm like, oh, is this guy, looking for this or that? Or like, what's he looking for? Did his kid play baseball with my kid or soccer with my kid or whatever? Mm-hmm. I'm automatically, dude, I consider myself a well-trained guy or whatever, but I'm going to let that guy get closer to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you're not going to be worrying about like, what's he up to? You're going to be worrying about, oh, crap, what's this guy's name?
Yeah, I'm thinking, oh, do I know this guy?
Crap, like
totally. You're like,
and all of a sudden, he's all up in my battle bubble, right?
Disruptively, what is it?
He's disrupting your battle
operational environment.
He's disrupting my operational battle bubble, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? And so that personal security, that level of stickers on cars, even like veteran stickers, veteran plates, things like that. I know some of us have them on our vehicles.
I do. I've got vet plates.
I'm not into it, man.
But there's like against schoolhouse operators.
You actually don't have to be a veteran to get veteran plates either.
That's also true.
The operation during the flag plate.
Yeah. No, I just have the straight vet plate because I mean, there's so many of them and. Unfortunately, it costs extra to do it, but I am proud to be a veteran. I am proud to still do what I do.
It's one of those things where you have to decide.
ERB is not on your back window.
Yeah, my ERB is not on my back window.
Well, and that's what you.
Do you have crap on your car?
I have a 48th Infantry Brigade sticker, but no one's going to know what that means unless they're in the 48th Infantry Brigade.
Well, now everyone that listens to our show knows exactly what it means.
Fortunately, we don't have a lot of criminals that listen to our show.
That you know of.
That's true.
All right, so I want to bring, actually, on that point, I want to bring something up because, so I belong to a gun forum, AR15.com. That's not a secret. Everybody knows I'm on there. And I spend a lot of time in the Arizona Hometown Forum. And we have a lot of great guys in the Hometown Forum. It's one of my favorite forums to go on.
Absolutely.
I'm not a big forum guy. I don't like to go on and chit-chat. My gun is bigger than yours or whatever gay shit people talk about on the freaking forums. But I'm sorry, Mason. I'm sorry today, okay?
That's only one.
It's been a long weekend. No, that's like 5 or something.
Is it?
Look, he's over there taking notes. He's got a whole page already.
Taking tally.
Yeah,
well, we have to because we're on Armed Forces Network now.
American Forces
Network now.
Yeah.
And you can't have naughty words. Curse. So you can't say things
sorry,
like,
James. Yeah, you can't say any of those words.
Yeah, you can't say any of the words that I just automatically bleeped out.
Okay.
Just for you, James.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to start editing myself.
They come bleep them then or what?
James bleeps them. Yeah. It's more work.
Actually, I do it.
Oh, Mason bleeps them.
Fantastic.
I would not.
It's time to curse.
I wouldn't trust Mason to bleep. First grader.
So anyways, I'm on this forum and it's a good forum, a lot of solid people. part of the issue that we have on there, though, is there's a thing called the BFL, or the bold-faced logo sticker.
Oh yeah,
and it is the logo of the website. And so people will buy these stickers and they will plaster them all over their cars. And then we'll see. I mean, this is like
BFL siding, dude.
On the forum, people will put BFL siding, and then they'll like take a picture, sometimes with a license plate and stuff, right there, and be like, "Whose car is this?" And then someone was like, "Oh, that's me. You must have seen me on my way to work." I'm like, "Are you stupid?"
There's a guy by my armory, lives 2 houses down from my armory, that has a BFL on his car. I've never bothered to like take a picture of it or anything, but I know for a fact that the guy that lives in that house has guns.
You don't think
that's a terrible neighborhood.
And you don't think that people, again, who do this for a living are cruising these gun forums?
Oh, yeah.
And seeing this information and going, oh, well, there's
a
vehicle that has guns.
You don't
that vehicle travels on the 303 every single day because the guy just saw this. So I've seen this truck on the 303 for the last 4 days. Whose truck is it? Oh, that's my truck. Like, dude, are you stupid? Now everybody knows that truck definitely has guns. And it used to kind of be this, I wouldn't say secretive thing, but like most people, when they would see a BFL, I used to have one on my truck years ago.
Yeah. I remember.
It was a really, really small one. It was really, really small. It was just down right up at the top, kind of middle, and it was really small.
Top middle, you say?
And not anymore, home slice. And so I looked up there, and it was people would be like, "Oh, what is that? Is it like a gear?" Yes, it's a bolt-faced logo of an AR-15. It looks like a gear. Yeah, it's a gear. Oh, what's that for? Oh, it's just a club I belong to. And people are like, "Oh, okay, that's great." Then, as soon as someone recognized it, I was like, oh, crap. And I started thinking about, this kind of whole OPSEC, PERSEC thing. And I just took it off. Like, it's not worth it. What does it say? It doesn't mean anything to me. It's not important to me. Just take it off.
Yeah.
I don't need people to know anything about me. So now, I mean, my truck is pretty straight as far. I tint all my windows super black. You can't see in my windows. I mean, I'm like right to the legal limit of tinting. And I don't have any stickers. I don't have any decals.
I don't know. They're going to have a massive sticker plastered across the back window.
John's got a big company, which I do appreciate. John's got a big.
One of my biggest dilemmas is where to put that super awesome sticker that I earned at the class that we take, the carbine one that we make.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's the best sticker ever, but I can't put it on my truck.
Put it on your laptop or somewhere at home.
That's what we tell our students.
I put all my stuff on. Dude, my laptop's like stickered out. My ammo can that I carry for training.
Like, put it on your laptop or put it on your gun safe, but don't put it on the laptop if you're going to take that laptop around to coffee shops. And, and it's your school laptop.
Well, I've got like
coffee
funny
full
stuff.
Of hipsters, they don't know what those
yeah, they're like,
yeah, but again, so tell your story real quick, Matt, about the gun rip-off thing.
There's a lot of gun groups on Facebook, and a lot of guys, like over the last month or two, like an excessively high number had break-ins to houses and cars.
Yeah.
And so it sounded like some detectives kind of maybe thought that, and this makes a lot of sense, let's say John's on the forum and John's selling something. I see him on the discussion page showing off his guns and showing off him shooting and, selling guns and buying guns. I'm like, this guy obviously has a lot of guns and or a lot of money. And so I'm like, hey, John, I want to buy that sling you're selling. And he's like, okay, where are you going to meet? We tell him where to meet. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in a blue pickup truck. What are you going to be in? He's like, oh, I'm going to be in a bright yellow dump truck.
Yeah.
So I know what to look for. I basically go there, don't link up with him, drive something besides what I told him. I see his car, follow him home. Now I know where he lives and where he parks his car at night. Stupidly, a lot of people on these groups are keeping guns in cars, and they were getting cars stolen with guns inside of them. Or their house was just getting hit, when they were out, and no electronics were taken, no cash. Well, I mean, maybe cash, but no jewelry, just the stuff that was taken was like guns, guns. So that's something to consider if you're going to be linking up to meet people to, sell stuff.
Well, here's a good post on our Facebook page from our good friend Jason over at TCB, who's like one of our biggest commenters.
Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Jason. I'm wearing your Hulse right now. It's really awesome. Thank you.
I am too. I'm looking forward to.
I think there's several $100s of TCB products in this room right now.
I'm looking forward to my new ones. I'm looking forward to my new Blaze orange
Jason,
ones.
your product is touching my body. Just putting that.
Or it's my buddy touching your product.
Do I have to edit that out?
No, I don't think so.
See if that flies.
I think that's good.
I think that'll fly. We'll get a chuckle out of that one.
So one of the things Jason said is some of the gun sticker lifestyle visibility is way blown, especially in Arizona. There's a thread right now on one of the local gun forums about a guy that got ripped, no stickers, backs into the drive to conceal movement, etc. That's what I do. I admit I over advertise my relationship to the firearms industry and take extra precautions, because of that. And I do agree with Jason, in a place like Arizona where lots of people have guns, then an NRA sticker or like a I love Glock sticker.
NRA stickers a dime a dozen. You know?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that those things are necessarily identifiers. Here's my idea about it. Why?
That's a good point.
Why do it?
Right.
What does putting I'm an NR, and while I agree with Jason in that it is kind of overblown, and we can go,
one of the vehicles he drives is like plastered.
You can't even there's no back.
I don't think
you
can see out of the back window. But
So one of the things that the kind of follow up to that Jason posted, which has a good point, is we talked about the whole gray man concept on here several months ago. Matt was on here with Cecil, our good friend Cecil Birch from Immediate Active Combatives and or Immediate Action Combatives, excuse me, and he was talking about the whole gray man concept. And one of the things that Jason says is sometimes when you try so hard not to blend in, you blend in. It's like kind of like the emo kids are like, oh, I'm so nonconformist. I'm going to look like everybody else. I'm going to look like in my little group. And so sometimes, like, especially from that, we always kind of joke about the tactical crowd. The tactical crowd trying so hard to like be incognito and not blend in that they totally stand out. Yeah. Or blend in. I mean, that they totally stand out. It's like those guys. That guy's trying way too hard not to blend in. And so I think part of the thing is, be yourself. That's fine. Be who you are. Just pay attention to what you are wearing says about you. Like Matt, for example, wearing an AR-500 armor hat. Okay. Does that say that he owns armor and lots of guns and all that? No, it means he might have gone to a trade show at some point in time and picked up an AR-500 hat, or he picked it up from freaking Goodwill or whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean.
I actually had some guy in a gas station when I was going over there. He's like, do you work for AR-500? And I like looked at him and he looked a little. I
was wearing
questionable.
One of the T-shirts that Tyler sent us over. I was wearing it at Walmart one night doing some family shopping, and he's like, "Hey, you work for this?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, what do you think of their products?" So I ended up in this conversation with this guy in the middle of a Walmart store about a T-shirt that I was wearing. And I mean, I still wear the T-shirt, but things like that do happen.
Yeah. So. He asked me, he's like, "Oh, do you work for AR-500?" I was like, "Oh no, I just grabbed one of their hats at a gun show last weekend."
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And so you don't have to be insane about like, oh, I'm not going to talk to anybody and I'm always going to try to blend in.
Let me see your ID first.
Yeah. I'm like, like I'm wearing a Tombstone tactical shirt and I'm happy to wear a Tombstone tactical shirt. Now it doesn't have tons of guns on it. I try to stay away.
Very small.
Yeah. I try to stay away from gun shirts. I try to stay away from that kind of stuff. I'll wear our arms room shirt, obviously because it's got, it's got our logo on the back. It says nobody cares, work harder.
It's hilarious.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great shirt.
And it's got, it's got our logo on the front, which does have a couple crossed AR-15s behind the skull. And yeah, that's gunnish, but I'll still wear it. I'm okay with that kind of stuff. I just don't want loud clothing. I don't want the huge gun across the front, or some of these shirts
tap
that
rack bang shirts.
Yeah, anything that's a little over
like the 762 design shirts for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to try to stay away from things like that. I just want to try to not stand out.
Schoolhouse operators.
I'm okay with, with living a lifestyle. Again, like Jason said, we're in Arizona. I'm okay with living that certain lifestyle that says I have guns. Yeah. But I don't just want to stand out and say, hey, I have guns. Guns over here. There's gun stickers all over my car. And I wear gun shirts. And I talk about guns all the time. And I open carry. And it's like, whoa, that's too much.
So your OPSEC and your PERSEC actually blend into the whole gray man concept.
I think they really do. It's one thing.
I'm a big fan of, and I recently picked up from our friends over at AR-500 a new discreet rifle case that I'm going to be testing out.
Awesome.
Because, going in and out of my house and doing the training and stuff that I do, I'll either load my stuff up in the dark or I'll back my truck up to my garage, or things like that, so that my neighbors, and I live in an area where I don't really have a lot of nosy neighbors and nobody really cares. But when I stop at the gas station, I don't want someone to look in my truck and go,
rifle cases.
"Oh, that's a really big, nice rifle case." Yeah. So that also ties into it. And it's just, it's about not advertising what you do, when you're doing it, and how often you're doing it, basically.
Yeah. And there's something I wanted to mention about that too, since we have a little bit of time.
Go ahead, man.
I've been seeing a lot of articles on the internet now about this whole ISIS threatening soldiers and their families thing.
Yeah,
and
right.
Yeah. You get the one side where people like don't put anything on Facebook at all about being in the military, don't even have a Facebook basically. Then there's one guys that are like, well, I post my address and times that I'm going to be home, so ISIS guys will come to my house and I can fight them and I can gun battle them. And at the end of the day, like if you live alone and all you do is sit in your house all day, then more power to you. Fight ISIS guys at home, but think about it. You have families, you have friends. You know, you got to find the right balance.
They're not going to knock on your door and be like, "I formally
all right,
challenge you to war.
Let's duel today, sir." Yeah, and you're not going to take 10 paces away and then turn
Shoot.
around and shoot each other. It
These
doesn't
are
work
cowards.
that way.
They're going to fight cowardly.
You're going to be walking into your home and just get stabbed in the neck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. 3 guys are going to jump in, stab you. They're going to blow up your car.
Or they'll take you hostage, like what's going on in Sydney.
They'll blow up you and 5 of your coworkers at the coffee shop. These are not nice guys who have some ROE that's real strict and
going to challenge you to a duel.
These, you know, so there's that kind of thing that you have to consider too. Like, again, in the beginning of the show, we talked about, you know, my trip to the Bahamas. Okay, so if I'm going to go take a trip to the Bahamas, and I'm going to post some pictures on Facebook because I want to show my friends I went to the Bahamas, and you know, whatever, I want to show off what I do. That's fine. Do it afterwards. Hey, just got back from a trip in the Bahamas.
And it's not just Facebook. It's Instagram. It's Twitter. It's LinkedIn.
What you tell your coworker.
What I like about Instagram is a lot more anonymous. You know.
Yeah. It is.
It's. I don't know,
it is, but you know, there's so many social media things now.
It's not hard to tie people together.
It's not hard to tie stuff together. It really isn't, you know. And so,
I mean, when we look at how easy it was when we were vetting, what's her name?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Very easy.
We found her home address in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't hard.
Fantastic.
I remember when I was
creepy.
When I was real big on the predator hunting scene, and I would, you know, I just published my book, and I was still writing. I was still doing a lot of competitive hunting stuff. I was real big in the predator world, especially kind of here in Arizona. And people would see me like at sporting goods stores or something. I'd just be there like shopping.
Oh my god!
And they would, well, you know, my handle online is Rizzo, and I'm not afraid to say that because everybody knows that's who I am. And people would, you know, not a lot of people knew what my real name was if they hadn't read my book. And so they would, oh, hey, Rizzo, you know, and they'd come up to me and I'd be like, how in the hell did you just make that connection? Because they'd seen my hunting pictures and then they saw me, you know, and even that made me kind of nervous.
I've had people like wearing an independence training hat. I've had people ask me, hey, do you know Rizzo?
Yeah.
And the first couple of times that it happened, I had to stop and think about it for a second. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know who that is.
It's weird, and I'm not like saying I was a big deal or anything. It's just locally,
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, locally there were some people who knew, who I was,
exactly.
and so but I didn't know them. They knew who I was, but I did not know them. So the first time it kind of caught me off guard. Like, whoa, hey, you know, I was kind of a little bit more of like the, you know, we were talking about earlier. Like, whoa, hey, who are you, and how do you know me? And usually it was like in Cabela's or something like that. So it was a big deal, but. Yeah, I mean, I had at that time too much information out there about me, and even now today, there's too much information out there about me. You know, I would like to have less, but it's hard
if you own a business like me. Like, there's a lot more out there about me now that I run my own business, because there's certain things that have to be made publicly available when you run a business. You know, and you have to maintain that social media and all this other stuff, and put your name out there and hand out business cards and talk to people, and you know, so but you still have to take into account that you don't want to hand them a business card that has your life story on it, essentially, and then hand them your life story by mouth on it too. So
it's like our bios on our website on our instructors. They're very vague.
Yeah, they are.
You know, we're pretty vague about a lot of the stuff we put on there, just because, again, we're just trying to protect ourselves, you know. And so don't be freaked out. It is not the point of this show. You don't need to be freaked out. And we kind of talked a little bit more on the show about like gun related stuff, but hey, it's the arms room. But you know, it's consider when you're looking at OPSEC, what information are you putting out there into the world about yourself
that could be used against you?
That could potentially be used against you. And when it comes to personal security, what are you putting out about yourself and your family? You know, operational security is more about your mission. Okay. And that may even have to do with business. You know, I kind of talked in the beginning about business, like, you know, secrecy of mission. There's some things where, you know, we're doing things in business, some of the things you guys know about that I've told you, like, hey guys, this is a no talk about situation. You don't tell your wife.
Oh, like that one.
You don't tell your friends. Yeah.
Oh, like that
one thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
And so there's some things even that we do in business that we just don't talk about. I mean, call it confidential, call it secret, whatever you want. We just don't talk about it because we don't want someone else to kind of figure out what we're up to until everybody knows what we're up to. And then we're okay with it. And so, you know, sometimes there's just those kinds of things where you just got to think about in your business. I mean, people get torpedoed all the time at work or in personal relationships because they just won't stop running their mouth about stuff. Freaking me out over there, guy.
It's fun.
A medic with a knife out.
Nothing bad can come of that.
Someone is going to bleed. So, just kind of think about operational security and personal security from the aspect of what do people know about you?
Yep.
And how, as John said, how can they use it against you?
Yep.
If the average person looked at you, would they see just a regular person who's not really worth breaking into their house, breaking into their vehicle, whatever? Or do they see something, if they're a bad person, where they see an opportunity? Stop looking at the world in the way that you see the world. Recognize that the world is not as it ought to be. And
it's not full of unicorns and rainbows.
Think about the way that other people may see you and your life and your things, and look at it from more of an aspect of, I don't want to project my reality onto somebody else, because if somebody else decides to project their reality onto me, there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Nope.
Right? I can't stop them from doing it. Now I can stop their actions, but I can't stop them from saying, hey, that guy's got a bunch and I want some. Because there's people out there. That guy's got more than I do, and I want what he has. Just like these freaking.
That's not fair.
Bad guys, these bad people. Mason, is that better? I didn't say a-holes that time. Those bad people. All right,
the boogeyman
who stole from this guy on one of the gun forums. Just last week. There's those people out there. They saw what this guy had. They decided they wanted it more, and they went and took it from him. And those people exist. They don't just exist in fairy tales. They don't just exist in news stories. They exist for real.
I saw something that said that fairy tales are not to tell children that dragons exist. It's to tell children that dragons can be killed.
Nice.
That's interesting.
I like that.
That's really cool.
Sorry, it really just like.
No, that's cool.
That's a cool way to think about it.
Next time you're reading me a bedtime story, I'll have to remember that.
Okay.
John doesn't know how to read.
Oh,
I do know sign language though.
All right. On that note, be safe out there. Right. Just remember how other people see you. Live your life. Be happy. Have fun. Enjoy things. Go places. Have adventures.
Take the tinfoil hat off every now.
Take the tinfoil hat off every now and then.
Let it go, man.
Relax, but remember that you are being viewed by people who do not share your reality.
Yep.
Next week, we've got an awesome guest on. We have a guest, Charles Heller from the Arizona Citizens Defense League, who's going to be talking to us about universal background checks and what that means for us. Because
I saw something about that on the Facebook.
Because we've got a couple of states that are starting to adopt this, and it's a national bill as well as a new Arizona state bill that's trying to be pushed through legislation.
Stock up.
What don't start that. All right. Don't start a riot.
Bleep that.
Bleep that. That's a curse word.
Seriously.
Panic. All right. So he's going to be talking to us about universal background checks. And some of you, if you don't know who Charles Heller is, go ahead and give that a Google. All right. Charles Heller is a champion of firearms freedom and individual personal liberty. And he is associated with our own Arizona Citizens Defense League, which if you are an Arizona citizen and you are not a member of the AZCDL, you are wrong.
Dead wrong.
Go join the AZCDL right now, because guys like Charles Heller are working.
I have to renew my membership. Thank you for reminding me.
Get a life membership, John. It's only $300. Make it happen. It's cheaper. It's cheaper than buying a membership every year for the next 10 years, right?
20 years, 30 years.
Become a member of the AZCDL. Even if you're not a member of our citizen of Arizona, support what we're doing. If you have the opportunity and the means, please go to the AZCDL, get a membership. Or donate to them. They're a great organization.
Join your local grassroots gun organizations.
If you're not in Arizona, there are tons of great local grassroots organizations. So check them out. Google Charles Heller. He's done a lot of great things. He's going to be on our show next week talking to us about the universal background checks. And that is our show right before Christmas time.
Heck yeah.
If you haven't finished your Christmas shopping yet.
We have one more next Monday, which is like right before Christmas.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
that's our show.
Yeah,
not our show today.
Got it.
I already got on a real note, I already got your present.
Oh my gosh!
Your present.
I'm so terrified.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Well, you're not a booze guy, so I actually
had to put some thought
think
into
about
it.
Everyone else, you just get booze.
Yeah, normally it's easy. You just buy him a fifth of vodka or something, or some Jim Beam.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Glenn.
I make stuff.
The non-drinkers, you actually have to think for them. All right. So, anyways, until next week. Do you gonna say it?
No, I was going to let you. That's your thing, man.
All right. Stay aware.
You close the show.
Stay aware, stay safe, and train hard. You've been listening to The Arms Room.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud